The Tusculum Pioneers had opened up the season through the non-conference winners of 5 of their first 6, opened up with the Lenore Bears and the Catawba Indians last week during Thanksgiving week. Hello everyone, Brian Staten with Pioneer coach Devan Carter, and welcome in to Pioneer basketball with the coach Devan Carter. And a year that, you know, we're going to start receiving votes. You've got a senior-laden team. You've got, a lot of things going your way. And then you got 2 of the best in the South Atlantic Conference traditionally that were coming in. So it's going to be a big week for your team. And what did you learn about your team? And from the South Atlantic Conference standpoint, what did you learn about your team that you liked?
Really liked the way that, we were able to adjust to 2 different types of teams.
Yeah.
You go from a team that runs a majority of sets, and then you go to a team that, likes to get up and down. That's a difficult prep for 1 week, 2 totally different styles. And I thought we prepared fairly well, to each style to make that adjustment. So was really proud of that, really proud of the kids for the way they competed. And learned a lot about our basketball club as well.
In the first contest against the Lenore Bears, which we'll get to here in just a moment, it was a team coming in with Cameron Seeley, and it's kind of that tough, we're going to rebound the basketball, we're going to get maybe some extra chances, get that little kick out 3. Really felt like you defended. Was it one of the better games you've defended so far this year?
Yeah, I felt like we defended at a high rate in that game. I think that we took them into late in the shot clock a lot of times. I felt like we did a great job of finishing possessions. And our big focus going into the year this year was just winning the rebound battle, trying to control the boards and finish possessions. And I felt like against Lenore Ryan, our pressure bothered them a little bit. And then, we were able to finish possessions when we got late into the shot clock. So didn't give up too many second chance opportunities. And I felt like we just took away a lot of their actions. And our kids were locked into that scout. My assistants did a great job preparing them for that scout, and we were pretty thorough that night.
You needed somebody off the bench to step up. Mia Long gets foul trouble about 4 minutes into the contest, and Elle Hutchinson kind of stepped in. Doesn't need to score, but, man, she really did run the team.
She did. Elle had a really good one against LR. She was solid, and that's what we tell our guards all the time. You just got to be solid. You don't have to hit home runs, hit a bunch of singles, and they add up. And she made some really good plays and distributed the ball as well.
Maddie Sutton must have been listening to us talk about her just a little bit, maybe stepping up offensively. She went 6 of 10, had the first 6 points basically in each half.
Yeah.
That really kind of established a tone for you.
Yeah, Maddie, the battle of the Maddies, I think she stepped up in that one and really took that one to heart. She played well. She rebounded the ball well, finished around the rim. Was just that presence in the paint that we needed. And, she's a kid that works for everything she gets. And she's that blue-collar, hard-working kid that you got to have on your team to be successful. And she did a great job.
Madeline Hardy was coming in for LR as the reigning conference player of the week. Thought you did a really nice job on her defensively. She didn't get a lot until late.
Yeah. To me, she's the heartbeat of that team. She's tough. She's big. She's athletic. And we really tried to focus in on her to make sure she caught the ball off the block. We tried to make sure that we contested everything that she shot. And then, once she shoots it, she's going to go get it. So you got to put a butt on her and box her out. And I felt like we did a good job of that.
Let's take a look at the highlights now. It's Tusculum versus Lenore Ryan this past week. And the Pioneers, get off to a good start in the game. We talked about Sutton, and you looked for her early, and she was able to finish early. Yeah,
Maddie did a great job of not only finishing around the rim, but running the floor and putting pressure on them in transition. I felt like, after the first few minutes when we weathered that foul trouble issue, that we kind of were able to get the game going at our pace. Was able to get the ball moving, and you see Sid making a good read right there. That's really when the tempo started to be a factor in the ball game. And we tried to make sure we got into their bench. We tried to make sure that we played without fouling, and I felt like if we could do those things, we were going to be okay.
One of the best all-time shot blockers in high school history at Morristown West High School, Jazz Williams, showing up with that off just a little bit there. Defense always traditionally leads to some offense, and you got some really good looks outside too.
Yeah, we did. At the end of the day, if you're able to get stops, and for us, if you're able to get stops and you're able to start pushing the basketball, that works in our favor. And I felt like in this ball game, once we were able to get stops, we were able to push the basketball and score a lot out of transition. I forget what the numbers were, but I think we had about 30-some points in transition. And anytime you put up those numbers, then you're probably going to have a good scoring night. And so we were able to get the game moving and running, and was really pleased with how we ran the wings and the rim.
Pioneers got off to to end that first half, went on a pretty good run, and then really to start the second half. After watching Lenore-Ryan, we just seen them hit a couple of three-pointers. They hit 3 right there at the start, but then you utilize a 12-0 run. Nia Long, who played just 4 minutes, 11 points in the second half, showing why she's one of the best, if not the best guard in the South Atlantic Conference.
Yeah, and you know what? Told our kids, I mean, our goal going in every game is to hold the opposing team to 3 3-pointers or less, and when LR got those 3 almost back to back, it's just a little lack of focus. You close out to Kennedy Wake and their point guard with low hands, they're going to shoot them and they're going to knock them down. And so got to clean that up. But overall, I think they only had 3 for the game.
Right.
And so, that's our goal. We reached that goal. But there's always room for improvement. Some
that came off the bench that were solid for you. Elle Hutchinson, we've already talked on, but Aaliyah Miller, too. She had a nice solid week the week prior. She comes in against LR and really did a nice job at running the offense as well, finishing, and knocking down some open shots.
Yeah.
Not only, are you getting some good play from your starters, but your bench is really contributing.
Yeah, and you know what? That's really one of our emphasis we wanted to go into the year with is having that bench that can come in and play and give you minutes. And, right now with the way the scholarships have worked out, we were able to go get some quality kids to come off the bench. And Aaliyah Miller is one that's a scorer. She can score the basketball. She has great footwork into her shot, so she's able to get off shots off the dribble and off the catch. And, she gave us a huge spark in that ball game and was able to run some point for us. And she's a versatile kid. And, you look at her, you look at Brianna Dixon, they're still kind of adjusting to things defensively. But no doubt, when those kids are on the floor, we feel comfortable with them and expect not to have a drop-off.
No offense. Maybe in one of the ugliest wins, too, I've seen us in a long time. And I just think that was the product of the game. We put them in the shot clock late. They were coming across. They got 18 seconds to kind of get into it somewhat. And then they were rushed into some shots. So they were taking time off the clock. And then when we did get steals, we did get a bunch of transition points. But we had so many others where I think that we got late into the shot clock. So the game at some point we didn't shoot well, 38%. They shoot, but you hold them to 33%. I guess my point is, defensively, do you feel as if you played one of your best games this year?
Yeah, we did. That game was a little funky just for the mere fact of, they were in the zone the entire time, and you know how zone defenses can make teams a little sluggish sometimes. And I felt like, for us, I didn't want to get into a battle of sets. That's just not who we are, So I felt like if we could get up and down and get that game moving, we would be okay. But the other team's just not going to let you do it, So, it got a little bogged down at times, and we tried to, push that pace a little bit more. I think that anytime you're going against a team that plays a majority zone against you, it really comes down to ball movement and getting some penetration to kick out and get some open shots. So I felt like we did, well at that at times, and some other possessions I wish we could have back. But all in all, I think our defense carried us through.
Pioneers get off to a good start in the league, 1-0, as they knock off the Lenore-Ryan Bears. And interestingly enough, it's the 5th straight win against LR. The only other time they've had a longer winning streak, you'd have to go back when they had the 7-game winning streak against the Bears early this decade. It's a Pioneer team then takes on a Catawba team, Terrence Baxter, and we mentioned this just a little bit, like even in our post game, we're going to see mirror image of each other in this one. So you go from a set team where they're trying to force you to get into some sets as well to let's see if you can play as fast as we can play. And in a game, I think it just kind of came down to a matter of execution a lot as well between these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you go into that game, you know what to expect. I felt like although we, scored the ball well, I felt like we left some opportunities out there. And against a team like Catawba, you can't have that. And so, you go into that game, both teams are turning each other over. Obviously, it comes down to little things. And, the little things in the ball game is we got to the foul line, we didn't convert it to foul line. And so, we can talk about, the turnovers, the foul trouble, the kids fouling out. If we do what we're supposed to do, we win the ball game. And what's really tough about that one is you lose it at home. You lose it on your home floor, and you shoot your own self in the foot. And so take nothing away from them. I felt like they played harder than us. I felt like they were, tougher than us. And I'm not ashamed to say that they were tougher than us that night. But with all those factors going into it, at the end of the day, Tusculum beat Tusculum. And, they're undefeated for a reason. They're really good defensively. They forced us into some tough shots. They got a lot of second chance opportunities. But I walk away from that game thinking, you play a little bit more solid and you knock down your free throws. You win the game, and you win a game without playing well. And so although we hate to lose, the things in that game we can correct.
Shemai Stanback leads Catawba with 18. It's product of the two top teams to turn you over that we were facing in this one. And I think they did that as well. And I think it was from some of our newer players, and we talked about how great L played that past week against LR. As good as that was, she also struggled against what Catawba threw at her. And I think it was a product of just learning what you're going to see in the South Atlantic Conference.
Yeah, she struggled. And at the end of the day, that's what you have a team for. We turned to Marta Rodriguez, because Mia Long was in some foul trouble, and Casey Johnson was in foul trouble, and had some other starters in foul trouble as well, and 3 starters fouled out. But at the end of the day, you got your bench for a reason. You want those kids to step in and contribute, and it wasn't Elle's day, so we turned to Marta. And, she gave us some solid minutes. And it's one of those things where, I told our team, we can't put ourselves in that situation where we're picking up cheap fouls. We got to put ourselves in a situation where we have, our best 10, 11 kids on the floor at all times. So, should have taken care of the ball better. Should have finished some possessions. But it's amazing how the little things add up to big things. And so you come down the stretch, you got 2 free throws to cut it to a 1-point game with 30 seconds. One possession game, 30 seconds to go. We missed both. And that was just kind of the story of our day. You got there 33 times. You leave 12 to 15 points at the line. It's tough to win against a good team like that.
And Coach Baxter's probably saying the same thing to his team. We also have to execute a little bit better with some of our players, as we were turned over quite a bit in the contest. All right, Coach Carter's going to lead me through some of the highlights. I actually missed the game Saturday. Let's take a look at Tusculum and Catawba. And again, there's just, here's a team that probably Catawba doesn't shoot as well, even though they shoot 44% for the game. They just did get some open looks.
Yeah, and you know what? I felt like our team, we rotated off shooters way too much when we didn't have to. And, that's just a personnel deal, a locked in, knowing your scout type situation. I felt like we could have done a better job with those details. And, at the end of the day, too, I think that Catawba did a great job of forcing us to rotate. They did a good job of, forcing rotation through middle drives and everything else. So I credit them for, their ability to attack. They were the aggressor, no doubt about it. Let's say we do make free throws and we still pull out the win somehow. We didn't deserve to win the basketball game. And, I can say that wholeheartedly, that if we won, I probably would have taken it just like a loss, because we didn't play well, and Catawba deserved to win the ball game.
I would say Pioneer team that, again, you're shooting from outside. And, again, we didn't really see that against LR. We didn't see that 3 go in with consistency. Seeing that in the first half against Catawba.
Yeah, stepped up, made shots. I think the big thing in that basketball game was we made shots, but it seemed like every time we made one, Tasia DeShazo answered. And, the one that stands out to my mind is when we cut the ball game to 2, and we had a trap in the press. They made a pass out of it, and she pulls up off the break for 3. And it was, cold-blooded shot. She's an all-league kid for a reason. I just hate the fact that she's from my hometown and she's on somebody else's team. And but no doubt, she's a stud. She put them on her back and had a huge game, not just with making shots, but rebounds as well.
Casey Johnson, we just saw there, get her 1,000th point for her career as well. Like to also see her probably just have one of those big games too.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, Casey has been. I still feel like Casey is, doing Casey Johnson stuff. I mean, she's hitting the wide open three. She's rebounding. I think she had 13 rebounds in the game. But every year Casey has a game where she has like 25 and 13 or something like that. And I think her time is due. She works really hard. Matter of fact, she's in the gym right now getting up shots as we film this right here. She's a kid that works her butt off, and she's a kid that's, her toughness is something you want as a staple in your program, man. She's been through so much adversity, and she told me a year ago that this day was going to come, and couldn't be more proud of her. Kid graduates here the next few days. I might cry like a little baby just because she's been through so much, and I'm so proud of her.
62% Catawba shoots in the second half. Is that a product of just them kind of getting to you and getting points in transition?
Yeah, it's a product of them getting to the paint, flat out. I mean, we did a poor job in the second half of keeping them out of the paint, and I felt like, if you're able to protect the paint, then things go a little bit differently. But stand back, DeShazo, those kids, they were attacking the paint, and we didn't have an answer for it. And at the end of the day, you got to stay in front of the ball. It's called defense, and we did a poor job of that. I felt like when we went to halftime and the game was tied, in the back of my mind, I said, man, if we don't shore up some things, we're in trouble, because they were attacking us, they were turning us over, and then they were knocking down some shots. And in the second half, they shot it even better, and were able to attack the paint even more. And so, no knock to them, but we got to be better. And they did a great job of attacking us and making us pay.
Just to put some numbers to what Coach Carter is talking about, 71-67 with about 4 minutes to play, and the Pioneers go 0 for 5 from the field, 4 of 8 at the free throw line. Not going to win you a lot of games when you do that as well. Catawba stays unbeaten, the only team in the league to stay unbeaten, and the Tusculum Pioneers drop their first conference game of the year. Now we'll go on the road primarily for the entire month of December. We'll talk about the Newberry Wolves when we return right after this. This is Pioneer Basketball with Devan Carter returning here on the Pioneer Sports Network.
Family.
Food's here!
What's it mean to you?
You got lunch.
To us, it means the people you care about, look out for, and love. Even if you'd never let them hear you say it.
Hey, you're eating hummus?
What's wrong with hummus?
Here at Ingalls, we have everything you need to gather around the table and give each other a hard time. Because that's what families do. Ingalls. All the ingredients for family.
Open up 1-1 in conference play. We'll look to turn the tide against their first loss of the year this past Saturday. They won't play again until Saturday. They'll travel to Newberry, South Carolina. Eliezer Arena. We love that place. We're heading down there this week. Gone are the days of a team that just would throw it inside. Huge team, solid team, with all the size and all the strength that they have. Going just a little bit differently. How is Newberry different from how they have been over the last, 10 years?
Yeah, they're still big.
They are big, yes, they are big.
But they are playing a little bit faster. They've got some point guards that really push the basketball, and they've got some big wings that can really shoot it. They're a team that still going to try to dump it inside, but they switch their defenses a little bit, and they're another, just solid SAC conference team.
Yeah.
Our work's going to be cut out for us. We're going to have to rebound the basketball. We're going to have to make shots, which is, always tough to do there for some reason. But that's a team that, has had some big wins this year, and we're going to have to be on our A game. It's a road game in the SAC, and you know how tough those are. So we're going to have to do our due to come out of there with a win.
It's Coach Page brought in, just a solid team, and I'm not saying that they're not any different from the way they were, but last year was kind of their transition year, and they were huge, and they could rebound. It seems to me they just played a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Of course, they had a point guard that could kind of, whenever she got the green light, she would just take that pace just a little bit differently. Yeah. But does your pace really hurt what they want to do offensively?
I think that it's kind of unique because they've played some teams like us.
Yeah.
I think that we know what they're going to do. I think they know what we're going to do. And I think that it can. We have to be solid, though. Like, we have to make sure that we sprint back in transition. We have to make sure that the ball is accounted for. And then we have to make sure that we rebound the basketball. I think if we do that and we can make pace a factor, it can work out in our benefit. But, Newberry also has some kids that are capable shooters that we got to get to. And so you know how it is there. If they're dumping the ball down inside and they're making a three ball, they're really, really tough to beat. And so we've got to make sure that we're able to go in and clean up the glass. They may play us some zones, so we're going to have to attack and knock down some outside shots because you get to the hole, somebody 6'2", 6'3" waiting on you. We're going to have to be thorough in our execution in this ballgame.
No question. Solid team, solid challenge this Saturday for the Pioneers. They'll tip it off at 2 o'clock. You can listen here on the Pioneer Sports Network. That's jewel955.com or through TusculumPioneers.com. Of course, you can watch the game, too, just by going to the Newberry website. He's Pioneer coach Devan Carter. For everyone behind the scenes here on the Pioneer Sports Network, I'm Brian Staten. Until next week, go Pioneers.